Anybody and everybody, you don't have to be a kid.
Yep.
Brother Danny's down here. Hello, kids. Hello, hello. What are you grinning about? I'm glad you're grinning. Good to see you. Did you have a birthday last week? Did you get cake? All right. Did you have a birthday?
It's coming up.
Got a birthday coming up, hadn't you?
Mm-hmm.
April Fool's Day. Well, I believe you probably are going to children's church today. We call that fun church. Church out here is not always fun, and that's probably my fault. But who knows? I try to have fun wherever I go. I'm going to be talking about cussing today, so it's going to really be, it's going to be close to the line. I know you don't cuss, do you?
No.
Somebody was playing golf. He was one of the people who played golf. I used to play golf. I had to either give that up or my religion, so I gave up golf. He was a caddy, played the caddy for the preacher. And so they wanted to find out, I wonder if when he goes to play golf, does the preacher ever cuss? And they was asking his caddy, so does the preacher cuss when he plays golf? And he says, no, sir. He says, but sometimes the grass don't grow no more where he spits. When I played golf, I had a lot of shots to cuss about. Read a thing of Hank Aaron, great baseball player, hit a lot of home runs. Hit more home runs almost than anybody else. I think Barry Bonds came along and broke his record. Maybe even Mark McGuire after him. But Hank Aaron said it took me 29 years to break Bain Ruth's record of hitting 714 home runs. He says, I went to the golf course and broke it in one day. The less you hit the ball in golf, the better you are. Well, anyway, this is a picture of a tree that I'm going to be preaching about in my sermon today. It's a fig tree. It doesn't look like a fig tree, does it? Well, Jesus, do you know what a fig is? Somebody say, well, I'll give a fig about that. Well, that's where that comes from. A fig is like an apple or an orange or a banana. Banana. A fig. The only time I came in contact with figs that I knew of was during Christmas when they'd sing about that lady bringing us some figgy pudding. And I didn't know what figgy pudding was. We never had any figgy pudding at Christmas ourselves. Here in the United States, we grow figs here and we eat figs here, but we evidently don't like figs much. Have you ever heard of a fig? Eating a fig? Well, there are just fig trees growing all over the land of Israel where Jesus lived. And this was a fig tree he'd probably passed by many times. Now, when Brother Danny and I were little, we used to go out and it would just be, we would go out into where we lived every day, and there would be crabapple trees and pear trees. We knew where they were. And at different times, there were even watermelons we could steal. Don't tell anybody that. We would go out and gather up tomatoes out of people's gardens. I'd be like a 12-year-old boy. I'd be going out in the neighborhood with a salt shaker in my back pocket. There were persimmons, and somebody would say, the muscadines over in Pleasant Valley, the muscadines are ripe over in Pleasant Valley. We would ride our bicycle all the way over to get some muscadines. Muscadine's kind of like a grape. We knew where to get peaches and apricots. And there were usually things to eat all over the place. As a matter of fact, I remember I would go out to a hedgerow sometimes, and there were honeysuckle vines. And you could pull off a honeysuckle flower and pull the stem out of the bottom of it, and there would be one little tiny drop of sweet nectar on the end of that honeysuckle stem. And we could sit there eating 1,000 of them. We'd pull those honeysuckles, and the bees loved them, and they were all around. The butterflies were around, and you could just smell the honeysuckle vine. And you pull off every one of those little blooms. You just pull the stem out of the back of it, and it had one little bitty golden, beautiful, clear drop of nectar. I can even taste it now. Well, Jesus had been probably to this very fig tree many times before. He grew up here. Every year they came to Jerusalem, and I believe he was looking forward to going to this fig tree, and it didn't have any figs on it. Well, this is one of the few times in Jesus' life where it looked like he got upset. It looked like it made him mad. And he cursed that fig tree, and that's what it looked like the next day. Carter, I've got 3 fig pictures, 1, 2, and 3 on the desktop there. All right, now that's kind of like, that's the best shot I could find of a fig. There are some green figs that you wouldn't want to eat, and there are some ripe figs, or one nearly ripe and one. And that's what a fig looks like. Funny looking, isn't it? All right, show number 2 there, Carter. He knows how to make them big. Now, when you cut it open, it just looks like a fig is full of seeds. Those actually, that's the meat of a fig. And it's bright red like that, and it's very sweet. And you scoop it out, or you eat it out, or you peel off the peel and eat that. Inside is a fig. It's very sweet. It's gooey. I like figs. I've got one more. I think I got a picture of Jesus eating a fig. Yeah, there we go. Or at least look at figs. He went there and it wasn't anything but leaves. All right. Now, I love having object lessons, and I always want to bring something here to you that's maybe something with a message, or it's part of my sermon or something like that. And I was going to be real smart yesterday. Guess what I was going to do yesterday when I went to town? Can you guess? I was going to find some figs. I wasn't as smart as I thought I was. I thought, well, you know, and I'm still thinking, I hate shopping. I hate shopping. Now, if Miss Terry had done this, she loves to shop. She probably would have went to 20 places, and she probably would have found some figs. Do you think there's any figs somewhere? And where would you have gone to get figs in Decatur or Hartselle?
Cookie aisle.
Huh?
The cookie aisle.
Yeah. You don't be stealing my thunder. I thought maybe Publix. Did somebody say Publix?
Publix.
Now Publix is they usually have some exotic vegetables and fruits. And I thought maybe Publix would have some figs. And so I was at Kroger. That's my favorite. I always like telling those miserable, so unhappy young people, yeah, I used to work at Kroger too. Because I laugh at them. They wish they were out doing something else besides working at Kroger. And I said, okay, you've checked me out and bagged my groceries. You can go home now. I said, let me tell you something, though, I told him yesterday. I said, when I was a teenager, my first job was at Kroger's, and we were actually saving the planet. You know how? We had paper sacks. You throw a paper sack out, in a few years, that thing is gone. But this plastic bag right here, it'll last forever and ever and ever. They say that there are streets of gold in heaven. There's probably plastic bags too. Well, Avery, what has I got in this bag? Come on now. All right, Addison, you're a little bit older. What have I got in this bag? Figs? No, not really. But they're fig Newtons.
Big news.
Fig Newtons. And it is boxed up like it was a gourmet cookie. I mean, it is Newton's soft and chewy fig. Like, I probably eat a bajillion fig Newtons in my life. And I said, and you know what? I probably paid about $8 for them too. Because I think there's something special now. Fig Newtons. But I used to dip these in my milk. Fig Newtons. And I didn't know it, but all during my childhood, I actually ate probably a lot of figs. Because a fig Newton is a special cookie that has the inside of it is fig filling. And I tell you what, though, I went to India when I was a teenager. When I was 18 years of age, I went to India. And there was a missionary's wife there that took us to a park. And on the way to the park, she pulled over to the side of the road and she prepared a picnic for us. And she opened the trunk of her car and she had a picnic basket. Do you know what Yogi would call that? A picnic basket. Picnic basket. And it was filled with the most wonderful delights. And she had some figs, and she had some fig cookies. Actually, yesterday I did. You know what I did find at Kroger? I found some dates. Jesus, no doubt, ate some dates. If he went to a date tree, probably would have found some dates. These are fig-filled cookies. Come here, Avery, and get these, and give everybody a fig Newton. Have you ever had a fig Newton? You haven't? My goodness! I'm so excited. Everybody get a fig Newton. Unless you don't want one.
There you go. I don't want.
What, does it look gross? Do you want one? Can I have one? All right. Did you try it? Let's see if Harper tried it. Let Lane try it.
They eat figs. They eat figs.
They eat figs? Yeah, the mules, they're hotsy-totsy. They have gourmet food all the time. So they probably have figs. And I love dried figs.
Maybe has a tree in her yard. A fig tree.
Really?
Yeah.
No, that's not true.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Do they have figs in Brazil?
Yeah.
I don't believe that either. Making that up. Yeah, figs are everywhere. Figs are everywhere. And they're so good. They're sweet and chewy. You know, I think probably they don't have to do too much to fig stuff before they put it into a nice cookie. I wish y'all had a fig cookie. Well, they're very good. And I'm going to leave them down here. If you want to take them home with you, please come and get them. And yes, I believe if I was going to a fig Newton tree and there weren't any fig Newtons on that tree, it might make me mad. Mad enough to cuss. Made Jesus mad. Well, never seen Jesus mad much before, but he gets mad within 2 days. He gets mad at twice. So I think he was maybe just having a bad week. It just got worse and worse. Well, that's a little bit about figs. Thanks, Carter, for showing us the figs there. And there's what a barren fig tree looks like. And if you'd come, if you filled out an information slip, place it in the offering plate,